Hello, I'm Jennifer Witt, Director of ProjectManager.com. Well, welcome today to our whiteboard session on expense tracking for dummies. Have you ever had your pay or bonus cut because your project budget was off track? Well, I have. So these are the tips that I created for the biggest dummy, me. And you know, it's a topic that we all pretty much, don't really like. So in my world, I used to have a department who managed the expenses for me. So my biggest lesson learned is when I had to do this for my projects on my own and I couldn't rely on the organization. So after my pay was docked, then I learned this quickly. So I actually made it harder than it really is. So we boiled it down to dummy terms. So there are 6 steps that I think are important. Number 1 is establishing a system. By using some kind of project management software or Excel, somewhere that you can pull all of the expenses together and have some way to track it by some system and some method of how it's going to be done, when it's going to be done, who it's going to be done by. So it's critical to have a system in place. Number 2, provide online access. Not only for yourself if you're a traveler. For me, I travel a lot, so I'm out of the office, so I need to be able to access the expense items and the budget online, as well as my team members. Number 3, identify the budget items. So it's important to think through all of the budget items or the expense items that are going to be tracked on your project. So you have to sit down and think about, what equipment, because that's an expense item, what people, what real estate, are you buying a building, are you leasing a building, are you renting a building, any kind of legal items, is this marketing, or is this where you have intellectual property, something where you have contracts where you have to have legal expenses. And then there's travel. Those are some of the things that we forget about when we have people on our team who travel, they're in meetings, and so those are some of the little items that we tend to forget when we are creating our budget items. So then once we have identified all of the budget items and we put it in our system, whether it's our project management software or Excel, then we go through and we make sure we've identified any and all fixed cost or fixed expense items or variable cost and expense items, and realize which ones may vary depending upon certain things, and identify those and create the budget. And once the budget's created, it has to be approved by certain parties, whether it's your change control board, your stakeholders, whoever has the authority in your group or organization to approve that and make sure that the budget or expense items that you plan to track or utilize on your project actually are approved. And then assign someone. A lot of times I've found where myself or different groups or teams have problems is there's really no one assigned to track the expense items, or if someone has ordered equipment or responsible for real estate or the legal, there's no one there to track that. So it needs someone's name, a person's name, not just a group or organization, but an individual who's going to be accountable for tracking those expense items. Number 6, track and control in real time. So by providing online access to not only yourself but your team members and the people who are responsible or assigned to tracking certain expense items, then by tracking them real time, and then once you find something is way off budget, you've either overspent or you've underspent, then you have some way of controlling that and escalating it in a timely manner. So those are 6 of the items that I feel like are critical. Again, sometimes we can make it harder than it really is. So if we boil it down to dummy terms, it's not really that hard. But the thing that also is helpful is to use templates and pay attention to details, details, details. The devil truly is in the details. So if we overlook certain items, then we might find ourselves, or you may find yourself like I did, of being docked in your pay or your bonus. And we don't want that to happen. I certainly don't want it to happen to you, and I don't ever want it to happen to me again. At ProjectManager.com, we've tried to incorporate some of the best practices and tips for dummies for expense tracking. So if you need any tips, tools, or techniques to help manage your expense and track your expenses, then visit us at ProjectManager.com.